Welcome to Commanders Daily, everybody. It's your one-stop shop for everything going on with the Local 53. I am Bob Matthews. Delighted that you're with us. Remember, hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss a day of it. All right, it is finally here. We made it through the offseason, boys and girls. Training camp officially starts today. Now, Adam Peters and Dan Quinn are going to address the media this morning. Depending on when you actually watch this, they may have already talked or they may be about to. We will have reactions tomorrow on what they say because chances are there is going to be quite a bit on Terry McLaurin and the contract situation. So we will, figure out what it is. We'll listen to what they have to say, and then we will react to it tomorrow. Again, they're going to be in shells here for the first few days. There is an open practice for fans coming up this weekend if you have been lucky enough to get tickets to go out to Ashburn. And that's when we're going to see the first couple of days of contact. Be interesting to see if you're wondering what to watch. It's going to be interesting to watch Josh Connerly Jr. and see how he has kind of absorbed everything, see if he can lock down the starting right tackle spot. Be interesting to watch how Laramie Tunstall kind of, works in with his new teammates and everything. And it's also going to be interesting to see who winds up playing guard this year. We expect that it's going to be, at least at the start, Andrew Wiley and Nick Allegretti until Sam Cosmi comes back from his knee injury. If that is indeed what happens, I think this line is set up for a pretty good year. We shall see. As for the Terry McLaurin update, I know a lot of you are wondering about that. As of this recording, he is still unsigned. That could change literally at any time. Is he going to report tomorrow or not? That's the big question. And Henry McKenna, who is a writer for FoxSports.com, posted a story on Monday saying that, and again, he is quoting sources inside of Terry's camp anonymously, but the source told him that McLaurin is taking things day by day and that he hasn't decided whether he is going to ask for a trade or not. And while he hasn't announced whether he's going to attend training camp or hold out, he says he's going to explore every option. McLaurin is hold out, hold in, trade request, but he's taking things day to day in hopes of hearing more from the Commanders. The Commanders, of course, according to Jeremy Fowler, want to make this thing work. They want him long term. He wants to be there long term. It seems like this will get worked out eventually, but again, from what we know, rumors, anonymous sources, et cetera, the two sides are pretty far apart on money, maybe as much as $4 or $5 million a year. That is significant. But according to the story from McKenna today, the one thing that Terry doesn't want to do is break the team apart. So he's not looking to cause any undue drama here. I got a feeling that means he is going to report and be a hold in until the contract is done, which hopefully will be sometime here. If not on Tuesday, sometime shortly after camp opens. We will, of course, keep you posted on it. Got more on Donald Trump and the whole stadium situation. Reached out to a good friend of mine, AJ Perez, formerly Front Office Sports, top flight journalist. He actually was the executive producer on the Netflix documentary on Brett Favre, to get some clarification on this. And as we were saying yesterday, as much as Donald Trump maybe wants to do something about this, there's really nothing he can do. He cannot unilaterally stop this stadium deal from going through. And there are a couple of reasons for that. Foremost being, legislation was signed back in January after it passed both the House and Senate saying that the land is going to revert back to D.C. for the purposes of building a stadium. One of the ways that you would possibly, muck things up if you're President Trump is he would have to send a letter via the Secretary of the Interior to the D.C. City Council saying that they're in breach somehow of this agreement, would have to explain that, and then the council would have 90 days to resolve whatever that breach is. Problem with that is the council's not in breach of anything. They've got nothing to do with the name of the team. Also, remember, and again, I know this upsets a lot of people, this was all about money. Sponsors started leaving the team. That's why they changed the name. Back to the administration, they can also try to strip DC of statehood, which comes with a whole set of legislative problems, or they could try to get another bill passed to take back the land from the city. Now, if you theoretically, could that be brought up for a vote? Do you think maybe that there are, I'd say enough Democratic senators to block that from happening? Remember, if you wanted to do that legislatively, you'd have to get 60 votes in the Senate. Think there are 10, 12, I can't remember, roughly Democratic senators that would vote to go along with that? No, they're not going to, which means this whole idea of you're going to have to change the name in order to get the stadium, it's just not going to happen. And I'm not sure why people aren't talking about that enough. It's just not going to happen. Period. The end. I know that upsets some of you, but there's really nothing we can do about it. Finally, again, we like to do this every once in a while, but dip into the viewer mailbag. Had a couple of really good ones from yesterday, although I don't know exactly how happy they are with our little group here. Although I have to give at Timothy Newman 8078 the benefit of the doubt, because, again, you type a comment in the comment section, and I encourage all of you to do that, but it kind of lacks context in this case. So Timothy said, and how long have you been a Washington Redskins fan? Timothy, I have been a Washington Redskins fan since before Warner Wolf ruptured his Achilles the week after Sonny Jurgensen did it. Yes, that's right. I have been a Redskins fan for that long. Back to the days of George Allen and the Over the Hill Gang, back to the days of Jack Pardee and 1978 when the Cowboys scored 14 points in the last 2 minutes of the game to keep the Redskins out of the playoffs, through Joe Gibbs, through Richie Pettibone, through Norv Turner, and through Marty Schottenheimer and Steve Spurrier and Jim Zorn and Jay Gruden and Ron Rivera and Dan Quinn. That's how long I have been a Redskins fan. But thank you for asking. Also, at Pistol 777, I think we kind of triggered him with all this talk yesterday. And Pistol, I just got to say, I'm sorry if you got triggered by everything that they said yesterday, everything I said yesterday. Some of the things he said here, said, this Dunch is not a Washington Redskins fan, just another woke idiot. You can say the subject is ridiculous, but I assure you, you are incorrect, sir. 75% of fans want the Redskins name back. Read the comments on every single post about the Trump statement today. You'll see the overwhelming responses leaning towards bringing the name back. Well, Pistol, thank you very much for your comment. Again, I'm sorry if I triggered you. And the inconvenient truth about this is that it really doesn't matter what fans may or may not want vis-a-vis the nickname. The name's not getting changed back. And the name was never changed in the first place because of wokeness, as you say. The name was changed because of money. Corporations, corporate sponsors, started bailing on Dan Snyder. Now, were they bailing on him solely because of the name? And, did the fact that Dan Snyder was an a-hole have anything to do with it? It could have, yeah, probably did. The fact that he antagonized a lot of these people, yeah. But they were able to come out and say, we are doing it because we don't want to be associated with the name anymore. The reason the name was changed was on account of money. Would I like the Redskins name back? It's fine with me, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen over the stadium. It's not going to happen after the stadium's built. Everybody just needs to move on. And oh, by the way, if President Trump really does gum up the works for this, not that he can, but let's assume somehow he does, don't forget, Josh Harris and the Harris Ownership Group, they own Northwest Stadium outright. That was paid for 100% with private dollars. If it gets too messy, they can go there and build a new stadium on the site where the old one sits now. There's enough existing land to do that. So again, that is where we're at. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry. You can shake your fist at the sky if you want to, but it's just simply the truth. And fortunately, starting tomorrow, we can talk all about football, stuff going on the field. Again, DQ and Adam Peters talking later on today. We'll recap that tomorrow. Please don't forget, like and subscribe and drop a comment, good, bad, or indifferent. I love them. I love to read them. We will talk about them here, full transparency. And like the wise man once said, if you're out on your bike tonight, as always, do wear white.